Hello and welcome to my channel Health and Wellness with Emma Mentel. Thank you for watching, thank you for sharing this video, and also for subscribing and for commenting if you're finding this information useful, if you have any questions, or if the content resonates for you. Today is part 2 of talking about the immune system and tips, ideas and suggestions on how to support a healthy immune system. So in part 1 I talked about the basics of the immune system, why it's important, how one knows if your immune system is compromised, and then a few of the basic factors to consider in terms of what would deplete your immune system and generally how to support. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about particular nutrients or specific nutrients, specific dosages that I use from time to time when I treat a client with immune concerns, and then just a few other interesting facts. So it would be a good idea to watch part 1 if you haven't done so already, and then this follows on from that. So the last part of yesterday's video was what would deplete your immune system. What are the factors that would impact on your immune system in terms of negative influences. And today I want to start with the nutrients that may assist with immune health, the nutrients that are typically considered to be immune supportive. So there are a number of different specific nutrients that play a role in supporting a robust or a resilient immune system. It would be wrong of me to single out one nutrient and say, if you just take this every day, then everything will be fine. Nutrients work synergistically. And what I mean by that is, again, if I use the example of a motor vehicle or your car, it's not just the air in your tires, it's not just the fuel or the battery or the water or the oil that makes that car go well. It is the optimal maintenance of all these different components that would ensure that you don't break down, that this car goes well, and that it's reliable. And the same with the body, and the same with the immune system. So to support immune balance would require more than just one nutrient, would require more than just one food group or one factor. Deficiencies are actually more common than one thinks. And over many years in practice, over decades of using myself as a guinea pig and myself as an example, I think one can safely assume that most people are too conservative when it comes to working with nutritional support. Most clients that I see in my office would prefer to take less rather than take more. There are many misconceptions in the area or arena of immune support, where people believe it would be harmful to take too many nutrients. People believe, and many doctors still tell their patients, that they're just making expensive urine. So I think because there's so much conflicting information out there, it becomes very confusing for individuals to find the middle ground and to find something that would be useful to implement and to apply. So maybe look around for a nutritional therapist, somebody who works with nutritional therapy, somebody who's familiar with using nutrients in therapeutic dosages and in a very particular way to support different areas in the body. So deficiencies are much more common now than they were like in the 1940s, for example, when soils still contained a lot more minerals compared to now. There wasn't all this big production of all kinds of fast foods, and it was much more a case of farm to table. It was much simpler to have that approach. Of course, if you can grow your own fruit and vegetables, it is much better for you than buying it from huge big outlets, where very often lots of sprays have been used to prevent insects from eating the fruit or the vegetables. Also, from what I understand, fruit is often picked green and then transported long distances to wherever it's going to be sold. And a lot of these nutrients, especially something like vitamin C, would be sensitive to cold. So many nutrients are actually destroyed between the time that the fruit or the vegetable is being picked and the time that you perhaps buy it and take it home to eat it. And then we also have this case of deficiencies being very common because of poor diet, inadequate intake, lots of stress, and you know, between all these different factors, it is not surprising to then understand why some people might require a higher intake, more of certain nutrients to help support a healthy immune system, especially if this individual, or if you have been noticing that you're getting sick very often and that you struggle to shift that infection. So the following nutrients can really impact on very specific areas of immune support. We call them the T and the B cells of the immune system. Zinc, which is a mineral, is a very important nutrient, not just for wound healing, but also for immune support. So zinc can come in many different forms. These are just ranges that I use here. That's a zinc AG. One tablet would contain about 20 milligrams of zinc, and this is also a gut-friendly formula. Then you also get capsules, you get liquid, and usually the strength of the zinc supplementation to take, in addition, if you want to do immune support, would be about 20 to 25 milligrams. If you are sick and you're fighting an infection, then I usually get people to double that dose, but you would discuss that with your practitioner. Yes, in your multivitamin there will be some zinc, but you will have to adapt or adjust your dosage requirement based on your symptom profile, based on your health and your immune history, to see if you need more. Omega-3 fatty acids, omega-3 in supplemental form from fish or in an omega-3 supplement would be immune supportive. Vitamin A is immune supportive as well, specifically for the mucous membranes, things like sinuses, bronchial health. So if you are somebody who gets coughing or bronchitis or a pneumonia, you know, supplemental vitamin A for a while might be really beneficial, or somebody with a chronic sinusitis. Vitamin A, not just in carrots or in yellow fruit and vegetables, but also from animal food, especially your organ meats, etc. But again, you might want to go a little bit higher if you find that you are compromised. Your B vitamins as part of your daily foundation support, and it is said especially folic acid, immune supportive. Copper as a mineral can for some people be deficient. That's an immune supportive mineral. Zinc and copper. Amino acids like lysine, especially for people who are prone to viral concerns, cold sores, that kind of a regular occurrence of something like that. Cold sores might benefit, and usually really benefits, from additional oral supplementation with the amino acid lysine. And then vitamin C. Vitamin C is a very well-known, commonly known supplement for immune support, and there are various forms of taking vitamin C. Now, most people think that you can just eat an orange or drink some orange juice and get enough vitamin C, but unfortunately, that doesn't work like that anymore. Perhaps if you have an orange tree in your back garden, and you pick the orange and eat it straight away, then you might get quite a nice dose of vitamin C. But typically, apparently, when I looked it up, the average vitamin C content of a medium-sized orange is about 60 milligram, and that is not enough for immune support. So if you are trying to prevent an illness, if you are currently fighting an infection, you're going to need more than that. And there are so many different very good forms of vitamin C. I recommend that clients take 1,000 milligram daily if they don't have increased needs. So somebody who's not a smoker, somebody who's not currently fighting an infection, somebody who's not pregnant or have other reasons for increased requirements for vitamin C. And there are interesting different forms, like for example, liposomal vitamin C, which is in a liquid form. The bioavailability of this vitamin C is quite high. It is a more expensive form, but you need very little and you get quite a nice high dose. Then, you know, there's like this ultra potency is a range that I use in South Africa, stomach friendly. It's actually got a little bit of lysine in here with a few other synergistic nutrients as well. So you can go and look at what's available, compare value for money. What are you getting per dosage? There's also powders. For example, in this range, I really like a vitamin C in a powder form that you can just add to water, and then it dissolves, because then I think you're cutting out, you know, that tablet or that capsule having to be absorbed. And also a beautiful synergistic combination of some zinc, different forms of vitamin C, because you get ascorbic acid, you get calcium ascorbate, which is a non-acidic form, and then you also get a sort of more fat-soluble form of vitamin C. If you find a formula that's got a combination of these, your absorption is going to be great. So whether you're taking a capsule, a tablet, or a liquid form, go for a brand that you know can be trusted, something where you feel that it's a reputable brand with integrity, where what they say is in the tablet or the capsule is what's in there, that it comes recommended from different practitioners, either in the country where you live or across the globe. And I would definitely always invest in a good quality vitamin C as a daily nutrient supplement. At times I go quite high with my dosages, but at least 1,000 milligrams a day. And then vitamin E is also supportive. But for me, the main ones to always look at would be your zinc, your vitamin C, those sort of main nutrients that one would want to ensure that you get enough of. Why do we need additional vitamin C? You know, why can't we just get it from our food? Why do we have to take more? You know, and this conversation and this discussion has been going on for decades and decades and decades. And there was a book published in 1970 about vitamin C and the common cold by Dr. Linus Pauling, and he was really, as far as I'm concerned, somebody who's put vitamin C on the map. He was the person who really created awareness, and for me especially as a health practitioner, I wanted to know that that I can rely on accurate information when I was making suggestions. So, you know, when humans first walked on this earth, things looked very different. We ate very differently. Pollution was a lot less. And yes, people would say we didn't live as long, but, you know, we have now evolved in many different ways. And perhaps we have to look at our nutritional requirements in that light, that it's not what it used to be. So there are some recommendations. I think they are outdated. The RDA, recommended daily allowances, that would say for males and females over 19 years of age, you would need about 90 milligram or 75 milligram of vitamin C a day. And many nutrient companies would still quote, this is the percentage of the RDA that their product contains. We have to remember that the RDA dosages or guidelines were developed actually at the time for a very different purpose, not to indicate or suggest optimal intake of a nutrient. The RDA was designed and suggested, and this set of guidelines was to suggest a dosage that would be the minimum dosage per day to prevent clinical signs of deficiency, clinical signs and symptoms of a deficiency. And as you can imagine, there's, you know, a big gap between optimal intake and preventing a clinical sign or symptom of deficiency. And somewhere in the middle, you've got to decide where you would want to determine your own personal requirement and intake. So people say I eat a balanced diet. As a nutritional therapist and a practitioner, I think very few people actually manage to get their nutrients just from a balanced diet. And I think one has to understand that humans don't make vitamin C like animals do. Animals have the ability to make vitamin C, and we have lost our ability to make this nutrient in our bodies. Plus our requirements are more because of stress, because of pollution, because of frequent use of infections and all the other factors that I mentioned in yesterday's video. So optimal and adequate vitamin C intake can have a great impact on your immune system. And I would say, even though the suggested intake would vary between 1 to 2,000 milligrams for most adults. One should probably aim to ensure that you take at least 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C every day as a supplement. Speak to a practitioner about it and see how your immune system starts to respond to that. See if you start to notice a difference in any of the symptoms that you might have had before. So the typical diet is not adequate, and humans have lost the ability to actually make enough vitamin C. So when it comes to supplemental nutrients, especially in the context of immune support, you might want to do a little bit more research, and you might want to try out taking a nutrient like vitamin C and see how it impacts on your immune health.